morning and welcome to another episode of the Fantasy Debate with Sam and Tate, brought to you by Fantasy Focused and the Original Hooters. I am Sam Holt, joined as always by Derek Tater. How are you doing?
Derek Tater. I don't know if I've ever been introduced as Derek Tater, but I mean, it is brought to you by the Original Hooters, but clearly we have a new partnership, so.
We do, and we are repping it hard.
Flag.
Yes, we've got the monkey knife fight hats on. I think it's because I'm just really excited to watch some golf later. I mean, that's going to sound weird, but I do actually really enjoy watching golf. Something I enjoyed watching growing up with my dad, and then just bothering the shit out of him asking questions while he's trying to focus on the game, trying to be quiet during the game. And I'm like, what does that mean? How far is that?
What did those questions consist of, though? Were they like deep analytical questions, or no. why does the stick look funny?
No, it was more just like, God, those pants look terrible, don't you think? Yeah. Dad, why don't they cheer during this? Why do they have to get quiet? Is it really going to mess them up? I would be that guy that says something right before. And then my dad's like, how about you be quiet? I'm like, my talking's not going to ruin their stroke, Dad. Like, it's not. But somehow it might.
If you were to scream in someone's backswing at a professional event, do they actually have some sort of rule that they get to reshoot or a mulligan or something of that nature? I've never actually seen anybody scream in someone's backswing during a professional event.
No, but I think that that person gets removed from the actual event. So they get put in golf prison and forced to put on a terrible outfit. But I'm really excited to watch the match later. Peyton and Tiger versus Brady and Mickelson. We can talk about that later, and you guys can tell us who you think is going to come out victorious. But as always, guys, please jump in the comments and let us know any fantasy questions that you guys have, football questions, or even movie and TV ones, because you guys know that we do like to get off topic here. So please jump in the comments and any questions you have. Lots of ongoing drafts. So any way that Derek and I can help you, we're down.
Absolutely. And I can't wait to talk a little bit of golf later. I get to throw in my Scottish accent. That's always something I enjoy doing.
And I'm sure the listeners will tune in right into the end for that.
Or sign off immediately.
Yeah, so we'll see how the viewership goes as soon as that starts going down. But that's okay. Real quick news just to talk about, throw it in there. Flacco did sign with the Jets, and Carlos Hyde did sign with the Seahawks. Now, you had an interesting tidbit on that Seahawks news. Who else was offered that contract?
Devonta Freeman. So Freeman has drawn a little bit of interest from not only the Seahawks, but also the Philadelphia Eagles, which I find a little bit interesting as well, because we kind of felt pretty good about Miles Sanders heading into the year, and clearly they were in the market and want to bring in some sort of veteran presence to probably rotate in and become a part of the rotation there in Philadelphia. But it's interesting that Devonta Freeman was offered the contract first, the same exact one that Carlos Hyde ended up going ahead and signing. Now, Freeman has recently come out and said he's willing to sit out the entire 2020 NFL season unless he gets the right deal. So I don't know what the right deal is, but apparently the contract that Carlos Hyde signed was just not enough to really entice Freeman to join the committee there. I mean, it's interesting, though, because I don't think they feel confident that Rashad Penny is going to be healthy for the start of the season. I think that's why they wanted to add either Freeman or Hyde.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. I mean, based on the running back issues that Seattle had last year with all those crazy injuries, it doesn't surprise me that they want to just shore up the position, have one extra man on deck, so to speak. So that's he's somewhere like, would you stash him like in a deep league?
I mean, he's definitely worth a stash. I mean,
yeah.
Hyde is. It feels like every year Hyde is like the running back that no one wants, but he's productive enough still that teams still bring him on, and he still finds the ways to touch the football regardless of wherever he lands. I mean, it's crazy that he's only 29 years old, and I feel like this is his fifth NFL team, sixth, because he played with the Cleveland Browns there for a little bit as well. So, I mean, yeah, he just can't seem to stay anywhere, but he's productive whenever given a chance, and he's finished inside the top 30 in PPR formats 3 out of his last 4 years. So, I mean, he's worth keeping on your radar.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it sucks that he can't seem to find a home for longer than a year, but still. What are you going to do? It's the name of the game. It's just how it is. It's a backup running back, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah. Besides that, let's just jump straight into the topic of conversation today, tight end rankings. Now, this is one of those positions where you're either going to draft them early or you're going to wait. You're going to wait and you're going to see what you get, because these are very, very we were talking about tiers from our other rankings. Wide receivers, and they have different pyramid schemes, a la, the Swanson pyramid of greatness kind of a thing. I can't even say the food pyramid anymore because I don't think the food pyramid really exists. I think the nutritionists have changed it. But you're like, I don't even know food.
What's a vegetable?
It's a vegetable. Anyways, that's why I didn't even bring it up. But yeah, I think that this tier is very, very different. You've got an iceberg effect where you've got the cream of the crop right at the top, and then everything else is underwater. So I think that, there's going to be a very clear drop off when we're talking points, when we're talking about who to take sooner, and then who you should just wait on to fill out the position. Now I posted a poll on Twitter to see who people thought was the number one tight end, Kelsey or Kittle. And if I had that up right now, that would make this way better, but I don't. It's Sunday and I'm slow. That's okay.
So it's a coin flip, though, it feels
It is. And actually, the vote is at 48.9% Kittle to 51.1% Kelsey with 45 votes. I think that's pretty much how people are drafting him, too. I see a lot of people taking Kittle over Kelsey first in early drafts these days.
Well, you got to ask yourself why. And the reason why, well, aside from the fact that they're both great players, I mean, they're similar in a lot of ways. But I just feel like the system is way more conducive there for fantasy production consistently. They're in Kansas City with Kelsey, who, if you don't double team him or at least give him some extra attention from time to time, he will torch you. Just go ahead and ask the Houston Texans about that, who had no answer for him as they dropped 51 straight points after spotting the Texans 24 points in the second round of the playoffs this past year. But the point is with Kelsey's production and floor, as far as his consistent volume in the passing game in a team that likes to throw the ball all over the yard with Kansas City, I just feel like it's a safer floor, even though they both have incredibly high floors, incredibly high upside. I just like how much more they throw the football there in Kansas City as opposed to San Francisco, which is a lot based through running the football, play action, and sometimes they inexplicably will keep in Kittle for protection purposes. So I just feel more safe, I guess would be the way to put it, drafting Kelsey if I'm going tight end that early.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, you can't beat someone that's got Mahomes at the helm, slinging it the way that he does at him day in and day out. So you just can't beat that volume. You can't beat that consistency. And the fact that, he was the number one, tight end last year in fantasy points with 254 in PPR format. So he was right there at the top, and Kittle was behind him by just over 30 points with 222. So he's right there at the top, and you can't really fault that kind of, volume. It's actually making me reconsider where I have him in my dynasty league, whether I want to drop him or not, and, pick up other players just because his contract is super high for me. But I have a weird league. We have contracts. It's very complicated.
I mean, I will say in dynasty, I would actually prefer George Kittle, because of there's a slight age difference. Kelsey's already 30 years old. So, and moving forward, I expect that Kelsey will we've already seen Kelsey at his peak. I think that he probably has another year of being in his physical prime. Then you start to see him kind of wane off. Whereas I think Kittle's entering his physical prime. That's where I give Kittle the nod, even though Kelsey will probably be more productive this upcoming season. I mean, last year he had 9 games where he caught 7 or more balls. I mean, that's crazy at the tight end spot. So again, I like Kelsey's floor a little bit more for this season, but definitely in dynasty, I think Kittle's the better player. And I actually think that Kittle will continue to grow in the offense. Just this year, I still think Kelsey's the top dog.
Yeah, he's still going to be the top dog. And again, until he drops off, you just can't beat that volume. The amount of yards for both Kittle and Kelsey over the next tight end. I mean, both of them are over 1,000 yards. The next one up would be Mark Andrews with 878. So it's really hard to see, anyone else being in those top 1 and 2 positions. So they're in some ways interchangeable. But for me, I've got Kelsey at 1, and I wrote no question next to it.
Oh, that confident. Huh?
And then Kittle at number 2 with has to be.
I just love Kittle's name. Hey, diddle diddle, George Kittle over the middle. Come on. Walk
Yeah,
this
you got.
way? I don't know.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you gotta love
I'll
that.
come up with something better, I promise.
So who do you have at number 3? Is it Ertz?
No, actually, it's Darren Waller.
Okay.
I loved how Waller started last season. And I mean, he was pretty damn consistent for the most part. And he was heavily involved in the passing game. And I still think that even though they drafted Henry Ruggs and Brian Edwards out of South Carolina, I still feel that Darren Waller is going to see a ton of consistent volume on a week-to-week basis. And of course, I mean, he's incredibly athletic at the tight end spot. He's a move tight end. You can move him all over the formation, split him out wide. He can do whatever you ask him to do in the passing attack. And without them having any other true possession receivers to speak of, I mean, yeah, Ruggs can blow the top off a defense, but Waller is the guy I think as far as an underneath option and creating mismatches, I still think Waller is going to be the focal point of this passing game.
No, I think that's a fair argument. These next 3, I think, are kind of around that next tier level. So that kind of makes sense that you'd have Waller there. I've got Waller at 4, and I've got Andrews at 3.
So it's not just George Kittle and Travis Kelce and then no other rankings after that for you?
No, I'm filling in the blanks as I go. But
that's awesome.
No, but I mean, I think, outside those two, I feel like everyone, the way that they draft, especially in redraft formats, and I think a lot of people are going to be looking to see, where do we have, we'll get to him in a little bit, but where do we have Gronk for redraft purposes? Or people are going to be taking him sooner or not? So, these are all questions that people have at the tight end position because it's such a, divisive position. Either you're going to take one of these top players early and maybe miss out on another skill position, or you're going to wait a long time and see what you can get with these back half tight ends.
Yeah, Gronk scares the shit out of me because has all the talent in the world, come into an offense where they love to throw the football, led the league in passing yardage last season. So, and he's paired up with Brady, his boy. I mean, they're buddies. So it's hard but he missed a year of football, lost a ton of weight, and there's a ton of other really good pass catching options in that offense. So I could see some people having him as high as like number 5, and I could see some people putting him all the way at 15. It's just like, we don't know what to expect. He's missed a year of football. So, but you have it Andrews, Waller at 3 and 4. I've got him flipped. I've got Waller at 3 and Mark St. Angelis at 4. They didn't really add like a true number 1 wide receiver in that passing offense. And Lamar Jackson led the league in touchdown passes last year. And they traded Hayden Hurst. Yeah. So you would think he's got a chance to blow up, right? Like, would you be shocked if Andrews finishes the year as like the tight end 1?
No, I wouldn't be surprised. And I love that you bring that up too, because he is right there at the top in touchdowns. So Kelce had 9, Andrews had 8. And then Ertz and Kittle had 7. So, I mean, I would not be surprised. And I love that you bring up that they didn't bring on a true wide receiver 1 for Jackson. But I mean, Andrews could be the thing. He could actually surpass them.
Andrews only played in 15 games last year too. And keep in mind that it just felt he was playing through a lot of injuries too. It felt like he was dinged up, and that's why you'd see Nick Boyle have a decent week. You'd see Hayden Hurst have a decent week here and there. But I still think that Andrews is what opens everything up, in particular with the rushing dynamic threat that is Lamar Jackson. The linebackers have to suck up whenever they do any sort of play action look, which just means your boy Andrews is just going to eat on a consistent basis.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, okay, so do we have Ertz at 5 together?
No, we don't.
Okay, because I have Ertz at 5.
I hate to say this, but I also love Tyler Higbee. I have Higbee all the way up at 5. And
you would. I'm not surprised.
Whoa. Can you go ahead? Why am I crazy?
You're not crazy. He's just your boy. So I'm not surprised that after having a very successful year last year, he was fantastic at position. I mean, you and I have been leading, the hype train on him for years, and he finally has that big year. I'm not surprised you have him all the way up at 5. I'm just saying. I'm not surprised.
the final 5 games of the season, he was what? Was there any tight end outside of maybe someone like Travis Kelce or George Kittle that had a better 5-game stretch last year? I mean, Higbee had 4 100-yard games, all 5 games to finish the season, 7+ receptions and 2 receiving touchdowns. And he was phenomenal. I mean, I get that they had some injuries with Gerald Everett, and he'll still be somewhat involved and see plenty of looks in 2 tight end sets. And then but they just got rid of Brandon Cooks. And they drafted Van Jefferson out of Florida, whatever. It's going to be, I think, the 3 guys that are going to be a big part of the passing game: Bob Woods, Cooper Kupp, and your boy Tyler Higbee.
Yeah, I think so. But I think what makes me worried is just that, like you said, he had a really amazing back half of the season. Those are very padded stats for just those small sample size of games. I'm a little bit nervous that he's going to have that consistency, at the very beginning of the season. Right. A little bit worried about that. And
when you're looking at Zach Ertz, right? Zach Ertz is amazing. And the fact that this dude is a tough mofo. Like, I want to drop the F-bomb because he deserves it, considering what he played through last year. 2 rib fractures, like a rib cartilage issue, and kidney issues. Like, the dude was – because really, Wentz had no one else outside of the other guy that made me drop him in my ranking, Sam, Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert, if Zach Ertz wasn't there, Goddard would be in my top 5. That's how good I think Dallas Goedert is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're going to eat into each other's production. So, and they added Jalen Reagor, also Quez Watkins. We'll see. And Deshaun Jackson should be coming back. So there's a lot of other options that we didn't see last year. A healthy Ertz is still going to do his thing. I have him at 6.
Yeah. Well, I think that's fair for him there. For all the positive reasons you said why you like him is why I have him at 5. So. Right. I feel like it's a safe spot for him. So
where do you have Higbee though?
I mean,
don't do it. Don't give him a bad ranking.
I'm not going to give him a bad ranking. He's definitely a tight end that needs to be rostered. He's not going to be someone that you take a flyer on later, which you shouldn't, just to have. But no, I don't want to tell you.
Oh, well, that's because you're figuring it out on the fly. So who do you have it?
I have Higbee at 8.
Okay, I got you. So, so who do you have at 6 and 7 then, if you have them at 8?
At 6 and 7, I've got Jared Cook and Hunter Henry.
Ooh, that is high for Jared Cook, even for Hunter Henry too. I want to hear, the floor is yours. I would love to hear why.
Well, Jared Cook, my only reasoning there would have to be, and honestly, I wanted to talk about Austin Hooper, but he just went to a new team. So I feel like that has to drop him in rankings because we don't know what his scheme is going to be like there. He's not going to be the immediate guy. He could be. I'm not saying he's not going to be. I'm just saying you have to allow that time to, let it marinate, see what comes out. But, I'm not going to risk that high of a draft pick on Austin Hooper when I don't know how he's going to be utilized. And I feel like I've been burned by the Browns for a bit. So I'm not just, I'm not excited to get another one of them on my team. But yeah, for Cook, Breeze is still Drew Brees. He's still throwing what he's throwing, and he's still having a crazy amount of volume for his players. And Cook, was 7th in overall fantasy points last year in PPR, right. 167. So I feel like having him at 6 isn't that much of a jump.
It's not. And really, after you said like the top 4, it feels like there's a little bit of a teardrop. Maybe 5 if you consider Ertz or Higbee or whoever in that top group. But for Cook, they did add Emmanuel Sanders in the offseason. And
they did, but I think that's only going to help open that up. It's still going to be a high volume offense.
Right. They're still going to be throwing the ball all over the yard. I totally get it. So, Cook is definitely someone that, with all his physical tools too, he's a great athlete and definitely a pass catching threat at that spot. I just worried because I think that Kamara and clearly Michael Thomas are the 2 top dogs in the passing game. Kamara's caught 81 passes 3 straight years. Every year of his NFL career. So, I think he's the number 2 option in the passing attack alongside Michael Thomas. Then you get to Jared Cook and Emmanuel Sanders. I think it's just going to be depends on whoever they're playing that week is what makes me a little nervous about him. I've got actually Evan Ingram at 7.
I've dropped Ingram so far down. I've I feel like I have him at 10. Yeah, I've got him at 10.
Yeah, Ingram, I thought Ingram was fantastic to start the year last year. And then he, ended up getting a little dinged up. And then, it kind of ruined his entire fantasy campaign. But when he was healthy last year, and that seems to be a little bit of an issue with him when he's healthy, he's still one of the more dynamic threats at that position. And Daniel Jones, a team that I expect the Giants are going to be having to throw the ball quite a bit. They're probably going to be playing from behind in quite a few games. I'm not talking shit about Joe Judge and the New York Giants, but I'm just saying they're going to be throwing the ball a little bit. So I still think that if Evan Ingram is healthy, he belongs right around there with that upside to kind of crack the top 5. Hooper's at 8, and I feel you, though, about feeling not confident putting him at 8 because David Njoku is still there. Jarvis Landry is still there. Oh, by the way, Odell Beckham Jr. is still there. And they brought in Kevin Stefanski and addressed the offensive line with Jedrick Wills and Jack Conklin in the offseason. I think that this team with 2 very good running backs in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, they want to run the football. That's how they want to kind of copy and paste what Stefanski did last year with the Minnesota Vikings, and they're going to probably build their team more through running the football than they are just throwing the ball over the yard with Baker Mayfield. But there's a lot of mouths to feed in that offense. So that's why I'm a little bit less bullish on Hooper than some people are. I mean, he was great in Atlanta. I don't think he's going to see the same volume that he did there in Cleveland. But what about this guy at 9, Mike Gesicki?
Who Victor Jace just brings up in the comments, had a decent 4-game stretch as well.
He did. And
when you like him with Tua?
With Tua or Fitzpatrick. Like, I think that either way, that Fitzpatrick, the way that he had the team playing last year to finish the season, I mean, we saw Devontae Parker have a breakout year. We saw that Gesicki was nice here and there. I'm assuming you're having to throw the ball to keep Knox.
I'm sorry. He's literally just – I wasn't home most of the day yesterday, so he's being very needy, and he's brought me like 10 hair ties to like throw, and he's like, please play with me. I'm like, oh, no.
It's okay. My dog ran head first into the door.
Is that what that was earlier?
Yes. She ran right into the door trying to get in, and it didn't work. It barely nudged it open. She probably ran right back downstairs with her tail tucked between her legs. Poor Sadie puppy.
Poor Sadie puppy.
But Gesicki, though, with the talent that he has paired with Fitzpatrick, who's just going to let it rip, or Tua Tagovailoa, if he's healthy, I think either way he's got the upside with either of those guys under center to see the volume. And another team that, speaking of playing from behind, I still think the Miami Dolphins are going to be playing from behind quite a bit this upcoming year. So Gesicki had 5 touchdowns in his last 6 games. So I like what his outlook and how he finished last year, and can hopefully take that next step in his 3rd NFL year. Okay,
so let's run down your list again and mine so I can see where we're at.
You can copy and paste. It's fine. It's like, no one used to copy off me in school, but you can copy off me for fantasy.
I'm not copying off yours. I'll go first then. Jeez. No, I've got Kelsey, Kittle, Andrews, Waller, Ertz at 5. I'm just trying to count because I'm bad at counting. So then I've got Jared Cook at 6, Hunter Henry at 7, and I've got Higbee at 8.
Okay.
Is that where we're at? Are we at 8 right now?
Well, I just said 9 with Gesicki.
Okay, 9 with Gesicki. Okay. My 9 is Gronk.
Okay. Your 9 is Gronk. My 10 is Gronk. So if you want to, your 9 Gronk, 10, who's number 10 for you? Hooper?
Evan Ingram.
Evan Ingram. Okay. Yeah. So mine's 1 Kelsey, 2 Kittle, 3 Waller, 4 Andrews, 5 Higbee, 6 Ertz, 7 Ingram, 8 Austin Hooper, 9 Gesicki, and 10 Gronk.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I feel confident putting Gronk there, though. Like, I love him, and he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and arguably the best tight end to ever do it. But he took a year off of football.
He took a year off of football. I mean, on one hand, then you have a very healthy Gronk. Gronk was very hurt and beat up, and the entire reason why he retired was because he was so beat up and hurt. I think that based on the situation that we're currently in is going to dictate a lot of why a lot of people have Gronk higher. And that's because obviously everyone's practice schedule is completely different now than it would have been this time last year. So the amount of time with a player to get that rapport is going to be a lot more difficult to get. Now, who's going to have an easier time in a new home than with your old buddy, Brady and Gronk? I mean, it's the buddy cop movie we're all waiting for. Like, crying out loud.
Lethal Weapon 6 feels
Lethal
like.
Weapon 6, yeah, absolutely.
But here's another thing too, and you mentioned how dinged up he was, and yeah, towards the end of Gronk's career and throughout most of his career, I don't think he's played a full 16-game season since like 2011 or something like that. It's been a long time. But
no, but does he have to play a full 16 to be your top tight end to get you to the championship? No, he doesn't. You have to have someone else to, supplement him when he's out that week. But I think that the impact he has when he's on the field with that combo, you can't really beat that.
I love I'm a Tampa Bay. You can see the damn helmet and the hat, maybe, sort of. I don't know. My camera kind of sucks. But look, I'm a Bucks fan. I'm a Bucks optimist. I'm a cockeyed optimist when it comes to Brady in the Bay Area. But last time we saw Gronk, he only caught 47 passes for 682 yards and one of the best red zone threats of all time, if not the best. Only caught 3 touchdown passes. And I'm not saying that he didn't deal with some injuries that final year there in New England. It seems like he wasn't able to stay healthy, and maybe the year off helps. But we've seen guys who are premier at their position, namely Marshawn Lynch and Le'Veon Bell, take off a year and come back, and they weren't the same fantasy-producing player. And it'd be one thing too, Sam, if Gronk was the only best option, the number one option there in Tampa Bay. But you can make an argument that he's the number 3 option on this team behind Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I mean, with that, I just think that you're going to see some weeks. And could he finish inside the top 10 at the tight end spot? Of course he could. Like, he's Gronk. It's just I have some hesitations. It's just
we all have hesitations. We all have hesitations. I think that you're just more worried because you don't want to get your hopes up as the fan that you are. I think you don't want to get your heart broken, and that's why you're just more hesitant. I get it. None of us like heartbreak. We've all been there. It's hard. I get it.
I feel like Forrest Gump reflecting on my life as a Buccaneer fan, and it's like just heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak. And you're right. I don't want to get my hopes up.
You don't want to get your hopes up. It's okay. We'll just order you some chocolates so that you can, feel better about it.
You never know what you're gonna get.
You never know what you're gonna get as a Bucks fan. That's very true. Oh, sad.
I will say, like, when you were doing the rankings, and I don't know how far you went. I went to 20. After that, after 20, it's a dart. It's a dart.
Honestly, after 15, it's a dart throw.
Yeah, I mean, but so 11 through 15 for me. I had Hawkinson at 11.
That's high for Hawkinson, don't you think?
I mean, is it? I saw to start the year. I saw some flashes of brilliance, and we know how difficult it is for a rookie tight end to really make a huge fantasy splash. I mean, does it really ever happen where they have a huge year? I mean, tight end is one of the toughest positions to transition from college to the NFL. So Hawk, with a healthy Stafford coming back, I do see him having a very good year, and with some upside because physically, I think he's a very gifted tight end. You notice I haven't said one name, though, yet. I think Jack Doyle at number 12.
Yeah.
They got
at 13.
They got rid of Eric Ebron. And who do you think that he can rely on? A healthy Jack Doyle makes a hell of a lot of sense.
A hell of a lot of sense and a really good safety net for Phillip Rivers.
Right, and he's going to need that. With a new team, who's he going to vibe with? I think T.Y. Hilton and Jack Doyle see a ton of volume. So,
Victor Jays has LeBron at his tight end 20. Did you see that this week?
I saw him working out as like a football player when there was a lockout back in 2011.
Yeah, and then that back in 2011 just brings up well, he could switch and do football now. Basketball season's basically over. No, he's not going to do that. He's a top premier athlete. He's not going to go and risk the type of injury you could get playing football and just sacrifice his entire NBA career. That's not happening.
How many tight ends have you seen get chopped away at the knees when they catch the ball going full speed?
All of them. I'm sure all of them have had that hit happen to them and then just prayed, please, God, no.
I actually think that LeBron would make a better wide receiver than he would a tight end because you have to block as a tight end generally.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'd be a much more dynamic wide receiver because, I mean, dear God, can you just throw a back shoulder to the guy, let him box out whatever smaller DB he's going to be facing, which they're all smaller than him. No, LeBron's just one of those athletes that would be good at whatever the hell he does. And by the way, Victor, I did see that little Twitter beef between Devontae Parker and Michael Thomas. Did you, Sam?
I did not. I caught part of it, and so I was confused. How did that even start?
It started with there was some sort of post. What would be tougher, to catch a pass when being guarded by Stephon Gilmore, or to break up a pass as the DB trying to break up a pass thrown to Michael Thomas? And Devontae Parker responded like on Twitter saying like, oh, it would be tougher to catch a pass against Stephon Gilmore. He plays in the same division as him, plays against him twice a season. And Michael Thomas took it as a slight, and started getting, bro, you aren't even in this conversation. Just remember, all kinds of crazy shit. I don't have it here in front of me, but Victor, I do remember that happening. And I'm like, damn, dude. I mean, Michael Thomas, you're widely regarded as the best wide receiver in the National Football League right now. I mean, why are you getting salty? But I guess maybe he has that Michael Jordan mentality where if you say anything and he hears it, it's like, to hell with you, bro. I'm going to prove you wrong.
Yeah, which, an angry Michael Thomas is, someone you do want on your fantasy team.
If he wasn't mad last year and he caught a single season receiving record for receptions, holy shit. But yeah, no, I thought it was interesting. But so back to the list though. Hawk, Jack Doyle. Then I've got Jared Cook at 13. Hunter Henry, I have all the way at 14.
Wow. Why do you hate Hunter Henry?
Hear me out. I don't hate him. But when's this man going to break out? Do you think he's going to have a breakout fantasy season with Tyrod Taylor or Justin Herbert under center?
I feel like he's a safe option for both of them. And that's why I have him where I do. I feel like he's a very safe option in that he's really good in different levels of the field. And so he's very quick for that dink and dunk pass, but also you can get open. He's just a very, Swiss Army knife type player. So I feel like for that reason, that's why I still have him up at 7.
It has nothing to do with his talent. It's just when you start to get to this point, talent-wise, you start to take into consideration their situation. And the situation to me is what knocks him down. I'm just not a believer in Justin Herbert, and I'm not a believer in Tyrod Taylor being helpful to a pass-catching player's fantasy production. That's all. It's no disrespect to Hunter Henry, even though it probably feels like it all the way down.
He feels very disrespected right now. I'm sure he's very upset.
We're going to see him in the comments coming at me you ain't even in this conversation. He's going to come at me
in this conversation, bro. Yeah. The next Twitter beef is going to be Tate and Hunter Henry. That's going to go.
He's going to come at me like that Colts GM came at Mel Kiper Jr. Who the hell is Derek Tate anyway? Who gives a shit?
Hey, anyway. Tate, when that happens, we know we'll have made it.
I know. I pray for that day.
Pray for a day when you get, absolutely just reamed on social media by someone.
Somebody called me out in the comments the other day on the Kenyon Drake video, said, oh, this guy's weird. Why does he keep cussing? Well, because David Johnson sucked ass last year. That's why. So, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not sorry. Who's your 11 through 15?
All right, so 11 through 15. I've got Mike Gesicki at 11. I've got Austin Hooper at 12. I've got Jack Doyle at 13. I've got Noah Fant at 14, and then I've got Hawkinson.
Okay. Noah Fant's interesting. Do we have any clue how the targets are going to shake out there?
No. We have no idea.
But I like Noah Fant, the player. I do.
Yeah, we like the player, I like the guy. I feel like, could be his time. I hope. So the question now is, I love this. Will Jenkins, one of my favorite people. So the question now is, does Sam rank a Steelers tight end? I do have a Steelers tight end ranked, but he is not in my top 15.
I mean, I'm assuming it's Eric Ebron, and I'm going to guess that he's 19. Am I right?
We'll get to it when we get to it. We'll get to it when we get to it.
Oh, teaser. Nice little team. Gotcha. All right. So 16 through 20, we'll finish this out here real quick. I've got Noah Fant at 16. I just worry that we don't know what to expect from Drew Lock. And all of a sudden now, there are a ton of new mouths to feed there in the Denver passing game.
Yeah.
I mean, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, even add Melvin Gordon to the mix. And we still don't know what the hell to expect from Drew Lock. But Fant, talented, could break out. I have him there with Jonnu Smith at 17. No more Delaney Walker in Tennessee. So Jonnu Smith, I like his physical profile and has had some nice games from here and there. And speaking of physical profiles and has teased us with a little bit of talent, I like this guy a lot more in dynasty formats. Ian Thomas for the Carolina Panthers. They did bring back Greg Olsen for a reason. And I believe in him now. What is his third year? Thomas has the opportunity and the job all to himself. And then I have Greg Olsen at 19. And then finally, the man they used to call Thor, great hair, Hayden Hurst, Atlanta Falcons. Can he actually replace and even produce at a reduced clip of what Austin Hooper did over the last couple of years? I guess we'll find out, but I've got him at 20. He's worth a flyer.
No, I think that makes sense. That's a good flyer for him. For Ian Thomas, I think my question still is, I'm excited about Teddy Bridgewater there. I've said before, I love him as a player. I think he's fantastic. I'm just worried that he's not going to have the volume that you want to be able to have a lot of really viable options of the offensive scheme. That's a little bit worrisome to me.
Well, do we really know what to expect with now Matt Rule as the head coach and Teddy Bridgewater under center? We have no sample size. And we have DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel and even Robbie Anderson in the mix, along with the best pass catching back the league possibly has ever seen in Christian McCaffrey. So, I totally get where you're coming from with the, the weekly target involvement being limiting for Ian Thomas.
Yeah, it's just I've got him at 20, so I'm just a little bit worried. I'm excited. I feel like there's potential there. Could be a thing. Could be a great streaming option if you waited that long on tight end, but I don't know.
I'm way higher on him at 18. Way higher. He should totally be at 18. What are you thinking, Sam?
Totally. So divisive. How dare you? How dare you?
I'm so combative when it comes to my rankings, and I don't even feel confident in all of them, but I just like arguing.
I know. Arguing is the funnest.
I know.
But I've got, and I feel bad for this guy, but I've got Kyle Rudolph in this. And I don't think that you even said his name.
No, I didn't. And it's, damn it, it's nothing against Kyle Rudolph. I think he's a good player. It's just, it seems like he's just kind of there in that offense. He's not like a focal point, like in the red zone. He's definitely done some really good things. I just don't feel like I'm confident in him breaking out. Yeah.
I get that. But when you're talking about these tight ends and we're going 16 through 20, I'm going to go through mine. You just want someone that's there that week, or maybe has a really great matchup against a specific team, you're just hoping, and these aren't your starting tight ends. So keep this in mind, at 16 through 20, you're not starting these guys. These are the guys that you're going to fill in with a bye week. If you see a really bad matchup for your number one, then you're going to throw this guy in. I've got Kyle Rudolph at 16. I've got Eric Ebron at 17. I've got Hayden Hurst at 18, Jonnu Smith 19, and Ian Thomas at 20.
Nice. Yeah, one other name I wanted to bring up, and I had a hard time because whenever he has the ball in his hands, he looks great, is Dawson Knox. And shout out.
I'm surprised you didn't say Dawson Knox. As I was getting ready for this show, I'm just like, how many times is Derek going to say Knox? Dawson Knox.
I love the name, Dawson Knox. Opportunity Knox. Again, hard knocks. I got to stop with the puns. Anyway, Dawson Knox has clearly a case of the dropsies, though. And if he can fix that, I still think he's going to have plenty of opportunity to eat in the passing game because you're going to have a very good running game. You have to respect Josh Allen and Devin Singletary coming out of the backfield. And you added Stephon Diggs. So in theory, the middle of the field should be a little bit more available for work when you have John Brown and Stephon Diggs on the outside. So I do like what I saw from Dawson Knox. I just want to see him clean it up and stop dropping the damn football.
Absolutely. And so to get back to your question, Will, I do have a Steelers tight end ranked, but I have Eric Ebron at 17. I mean, there's a lot of potential in that type of a weapon for Ben, but I mean, I think that at the position, there's so many other people that are going to be more immediate as far as getting targets than Ebron, so that's why I have him so low. But I think it would be crazier to have him like in the top 10. That would be a bit ballsy of me.
You know, he went from catching like 14 or scoring 14 or 15 touchdowns, you know, in 2018 to being a non-factor in 2019, essentially. So it scares me because they still have Vance McDonald, if I remember correctly.
Absolutely. Yeah, they still do. So they're going to kind of play off of each other. I mean, McDonald was fantastic, you know, on certain big plays. Obviously he was there and can be that big playability guy, but he's not going to be the guy week to week. And I think seeing both of them together, we're going to see one of them, you know, beat the other in targets. So that's just going to be how it plays. But I had to jump into this really quick because I had to laugh. Victor J saying OJ Howard is a ghost now.
Boy, I'm shocked that he's still on the roster, to be honest with you. It felt like they were like actively trying to say, take him, please. Just give us a 4th rounder.
Yeah, we'll take what we can get.
We spent a first. We made a mistake. We know it. We traded for Gronk. Please give us our pick back.
Yeah. So, I mean, absolutely. He's kind of a ghost now. Hopefully, you know, if he does land with a different team, is there a team that you would then put him in your rankings?
Yeah, no, I mean, Howard, I already made the argument that I don't think Gronk could see enough targets to be fantasy relevant. That definitely applies to the second tight end to me.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if OJ Howard does get traded, is there a team that you'd prefer him on that you could see maybe it working out?
Green Bay.
Yeah.
Green Bay stands out to me because, again, you have Matt LaFleur, kind of kind of a descendant of that Shanahan scheme, a lot of play action. I could see Howard, you know, seeing some significant volume and being able to do some work in that type of system.
Yeah, I like that. I think that'd be a good fit. I was thinking Green Bay because I'm looking at their starting tight end, Jace Sternberger.
We didn't even mention his name, and I'm not going to mention his name. It's no thanks. I'm good.
No, thank you. I'm good. But if OJ Howard went there, I'd be interested.
I would be. He'd be worth a flyer. So.
Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, what was the other one? Tyler joining in late. Hi, Tyler. I'm so late. Have I missed the Blake Jarwin talk? Like, yeah.
No, well, you didn't miss it because we didn't talk about him. Yeah.
We didn't talk about him much.
Whatever. He's another one of those streamers to me. I don't think that he has a breakout year.
No, it definitely, I mean, would be outside our top 20s as we just went through them. So worth the streaming option, maybe in deep leagues and dynasty stashing to see, because obviously you're going to have so much volume with Dak Prescott. Maybe he's going to, you know, go into the top and kind of eke into those rankings. But as for right now, absolutely not. Love this. Knox drops from Tyler. And Tyler saying, Tate, we agree on Gronk. I don't think anything's going to happen with him there. He's there for the ride.
Ooh, there for the ride. I think he'll have a little bit more of an impact than that. I think he's gonna have a slow start to the year. I think that you're gonna see him trying to get back into football shape, and then once he gets back into the flow of things, you'll see his role and his conditioning expand. So, slow start for Gronk. Once he gets back up and running, though, he'll still be productive. It's just I don't see him having that consistent production. I think it's going to be hit and miss with all the pass catching options there.
Yeah, I think so too. But I'm just hoping that, you know, based on I'm hoping for Gronk that just with the weird situation that we're in, it's going to be a lot easier for him to get targets from his old buddy than it is anything else, because Brady's not going to have as much time with those other players to get that system down. He's going to get frustrated. Just be where I tell you to be. And Gronk's going to be like, I already know where you want me to be. You want me to be over there. I'll go over there. I'll catch the ball and we'll be good. So.
Yeah, Gronk in that respect, and I feel like that's where he'll make an impact for fantasy is like in the red zone, because who does he trust more than throwing the ball to Gronk in the red zone? I mean, that's where I think you'll see. You have to also account for Chris Godwin and Mike Evans.
You do.
I hope that they line up the cannon fire at Raymond James Stadium as to when Gronk actually spikes it after scoring a touchdown.
Oh, I'm sure they'll orchestrate it
right at that moment.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll orchestrate it just fine. And Will Jenkins, is Ebron going to be like another green? I'm guessing like Ladarius green, and I'm hoping not.
That is the correct answer. I was wondering if you knew which green he was talking about.
Well, you know.
I mean, you're only a Steelers fan. I get it. So
I gotta try, you know, I gotta try and rep the colors properly. But
what the hell was that with like the governor of Pennsylvania beefing with Big Ben for getting a haircut?
Oh, because in Pennsylvania, technically they're still under lockdown, and I guess that barbershops are not supposed to be open yet.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
you're in Michigan, and thank God I got a haircut from, you know, I'm not going to nameless person, but are you going to hate me? Sorry, like I need my haircut, otherwise I look like a complete slob.
Well, also, you know, Ben's thing was, you know, and he will shave his beard and trim it up when he can throw an NFL pass, and he was able to throw a pass, so he had to shave. I mean, a bet to bet.
True.
That's okay. Bet. You gotta do it.
I thought it was a little silly. I thought the governor was a little out of line. Like, just come on, man. It's a haircut.
This is an amazing question to take us off topic before we start talking about some golf.
Oh yeah.
But Victor J's with an amazing one for us right now. Draft your top 3 chip flavors.
Go first. We'll go sneak order, back and forth.
All right. I think that nacho flavor is a bit of low-hanging fruit in that it's everyone's favorite, but I very much like the nacho flavor fruit. The Dorito, I don't know, you probably don't eat these because you don't care about healthy food, but Quest has a really good high-protein chip, and their nacho flavor is fantastic. Love that one. My number 2 would have to be salt and vinegar, because I love me a good salt and vinegar chip to go with like fish and all that, because I am half English, so that's something that is very near and dear to my heart. Love that flavoring. Okay. And then the next one for me, I think would have to be those Hawaiian barbecue little Lay's chips. Those are freaking phenomenal. Okay. There's like a random brand of like a Hawaiian chip brand, and they do a Hawaiian barbecue chip flavor. I'm starting to drill now. They're so freaking good. They're so freaking good.
All right. Well, then we don't have any of our picks, you know, and you just took all 3. So I get to make 3 in a row, I guess. So here, I'm letting it rip.
Oh, sorry. Were we supposed to do circles? Because I just took them all.
You did. You're just like, hey, it's my turn. Yep, I'm running.
I know. You know what? You can pick your team. It's 2 of us. How much are we going to really be able to draft?
Well, I mean, I'm just glad that we didn't overlap. So you said chip flavors. I'm going to draft specific chips. And for me, Ruffles, sour cream, and cheddar is the 101 GOAT in this conversation for me. Easily. Oh, my God.
Nasty. No.
100%. What? Nasty?
Nope. Gross.
Oh, wow. 2, once you pop, you can't stop. I am a fan of the Pringles, sour cream, and onion.
No shocker there.
The green can. What?
That's not a surprising pick for me, because I can imagine just like a childhood Tate getting the little packet of Pringles in his lunch every day, and then, you know, you're blushing because I freaking nailed it. You know I did.
Whatever. I'll turn my camera off so you can't see my face and read my expressions. And then at 3, I have a tough spot here because I love the Doritos Cooler Ranch. Mm-hmm. That's up there for sure. But I'm going to go with like the barbecue kettle corn chips. I think that's, I forget the name of the actual brand, but the kettle corn ones with the barbecue, the hickory smoked barbecue.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's up there.
But yeah, those are really good too. I agree with those. Those are fantastic. But no, I think that we both have amazing teams there. And it looks like even if we went in a snake draft, we wouldn't have taken each other.
Oh, no, we don't have any. We don't see eye to eye when it comes to chips.
When it comes to food, we don't see eye to eye because I'm like, well, you know, calories. And you're like, does it have vegetable? If it touched it, was it near it? No.
I'm somebody that likes to have my plate segregated as far as all the different things that are on the plate. Unless it's unless it's like mashed potatoes and gravy, then you can just slap all that shit together.
So when Kelly's like getting your dinner ready, do you have one of those little plates that's got the divisional lines in it?
No, it's not built on there, but I say you kind of make sure that there's the 6 foot, like social distancing on my plate.
No touchy.
Social distancing definitely applies to my plate when it comes to different shit being on there.
That's funny because like when I go out to a restaurant, I really enjoy like a nice plating. I like seeing all my food, but as soon as I have the fork and knife, it is a blender and all of it's getting mixed together. And it's like when I cook for myself here, I literally will cook things separate and then pour them all in a giant bowl that has a handle and eat out of it like an animal. I just need a trough of food and I need a massive amount of it. And I will just continually like throw back food.
I hate when certain things are running into certain other objects on my plate. Like, because then you get the juices of one kind of flowing into another. Rick, I agree. Rick, by the way, has the best pizza joint of all time there in Dale County, Florida, Vituri's Pizzeria. I miss it. Like, if you could mail me it up here, Rick, I don't care. I'll throw it back in the oven. Just tell me how long. I need direction in my life without Vituri's Pizza.
Do you know if they're still doing delivery? We can plug this because obviously people have sports to watch today. We've got golf. Someone can order a pie. Get ready for some golf. Get settled in, guys.
You're also forgetting about the old Coca-Cola 600 there.
We do. We have that as well. Yes. Guys, if you have not noticed by the fact that we're wearing our Monkey Knife Fight hat and gear today, don't forget to jump over there and see all the prop bets you can make today. And there's some fun ones that you can do even for the golf, over unders for Tiger and Mickelson. There's not really an over under necessarily for Manning and Brady, but I'm sure that there will be one shortly. So jump in there and make some prop bets because they're super fun. And we actually have some sports we get to enjoy today. So support local, order that pizza from Rick. It's gonna be good.
So here, I'll show you exactly what we're talking about. The old share screen.
Yes.
Monkey Knife Fight. So this is the competition. If you haven't yet done so, you can actually play along here at Monkey Knife Fight by using a promo code when you sign up and make your first deposit. If you make a deposit over $50, Monkey Knife Fight will automatically accredit you an additional $50 into your account to go ahead and bet and play around with. But this is what we have for Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson for the match, Champions for Charity. Tiger Woods and Peyton Manning taking on Phil Mickelson and your boy Tommy Brady. So the fantasy points go as follows. Let me go ahead and bring up the scoring. It is a match. You get 5 points for the win per hole. If you win the hole, at least the pairing of Tiger and Phil, or Tiger and Peyton, Phil and Brady, if they win the hole, they get 2 points. If they split it, you get 1. If the hole goes unplayed, you still get 1 point. So Phil Mickelson set and Tom Brady set at 18.5 points, while Peyton and Tiger are at 23.5. So I've got Tiger. I'm rolling with Tiger and Peyton Manning, which, by the way, I don't know if you caught any of the shit talking that they had going on.
That was really fun.
Oh my God. It was fantastic. Fantastic.
If you're going Tiger, I was going to go Peyton and Tiger because I feel like Peyton's had more time off to just enjoy and play golf. But I'll take the other because I really like Mickelson. So I think that you and I can do a separate bet, and we should throw it up here on Monkey Knife Fight too and submit it. And I'll take Brady Mickelson.
So I'm going to go less with. So you have to. What you have to do in order to get 2.5 times your buy-in is you have to pick both correctly. So I'm going more with Tiger and Peyton and less for Phil and Tom Brady. So I'm betting against Tom Brady. And I don't feel good about it because
is that how you want to start your season with your new quarterback, Tate?
Victor's going with Phil and Brady for sure. And that is how I'm going to start because you know what? I'm trying to pick winners here. Winners. And who wins more on the golf course than Tiger Woods?
Phil Mickelson.
Actually, Phil did win the last match Champions for Charity, this exact event. Phil actually did win last time. But by the way, also when you're making your first deposit, use the promo code FOCUSED. I did forget to add that. I did it pretty good off the top of my head, though, considering that was off kilter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's good off the top of your head. I'm not good off the top of my head. I'm not drinking coffee today. I'm very slow. And
tell me I'm good at my job, please.
You're okay at your job. You're okay at your job.
It's a sauna in this house too. I'm sorry if I'm sweating all over, but my apologies, everybody.
That's okay. And Rick did jump in and say we've been very busy, Derek. Thank you.
Yeah, hey, yes. Good to hear. Good to hear. I've been worried about all of our friends and family in the service industry right now during the COVID-19 pandemic. So good to hear, Rick. Good to hear. But any other thoughts? Tight ends rankings. I mean, again. I think your boy Tyler Higbee, I have to give him one more shout out. He actually did come on the Fantasy Focus podcast way back when. Coach Rick, speaking of which, go Higbee. Coach Rick was actually his head football coach throughout
Wow.
most of his youth years. So seeing Tyler Higbee succeed at the level that he has at the peak of football excellence in the National Football League, it's surreal, because I saw this kid catch a football at like 7 years old, and I was like, this kid's going to be special. And he ends up, becoming a starting tight end for the Los Angeles Rams. It's awesome.
Yeah, and in your top 5 for your rankings for tight ends this year.
Oh, hell yeah. Get on the hype train.
All right. On that note, guys, please stay safe out there. If you haven't already, go and check out Monkey Knife Fight. Again, if you're going to make a deposit, use code FOCUSED, 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 to get that bonus. And, have fun watching some golf and some NASCAR later today. And stay safe out there, guys. If you guys want to follow either Derek or myself on social media, you can follow Tate at DTater4 on all forms of social. For myself, you can follow me on Twitter at Samantha R. Holt and on Instagram at Sam_awesome. Have a wonderful Sunday, guys. Stay safe out there, and happy Memorial Day.